Welcome to Patty's Aquatics and welcome to my fish room. Today's video is going to be another one in my series, The Truth About Dirty Tanks. Now, in this one, the moniker for a dirty tank typically has been a natural aquarium. Some claim that it's a self-sustaining aquarium. In this one, I'm really going to go over the myth of why this is really impossible. Now, hear me out. Don't click away just yet. I'm not saying it's impossible to have a low maintenance aquarium. Heck, that's pretty much the epitome of a dirty tank. I'm not even saying that you shouldn't try to replicate some of these natural processes and include them into your aquariums. I think that's highly beneficial. But what I'm saying is ecosystems don't work that way. You can't just set them and forget them. Aquariums don't work that way either. So stick around. We've all seen the claims, a self-sustaining aquarium, completely natural, no water changes, no human intervention. It sounds like the ultimate dream for Aquarius, a tank that takes care of itself. But here's the truth, a self-sustaining aquarium, well, it doesn't exist. And today, we're going to explore why. But first, let's define that term. When people say self-sustaining, they often mean an aquarium that requires little or no human intervention. No filtration, no feeding, no cleaning, a living ecosystem in a glass box, operating in perfect balance. But this idea overlooks one crucial fact. Aquariums are closed systems. Nothing enters or exits unless you make it happen. Now, in nature, there's a constant flow of water, nutrients, and life. But what about in your tank? That doesn't happen on its own. Nature operates on massive scales. Lakes span miles, rivers connect ecosystems, and oceans regulate themselves through tides, weather, and biodiversity. But in your 20-gallon tank, or heck, even your 100-gallon, you don't have that space. You don't have that flow. And most importantly, you don't have that diversity. Now, in the wild, countless organisms maintain balance. Algae-eating fish, detritivores, fungi, bacteria, even insects. But in your tank, that web of life is incomplete. There are no seasonal die-offs, no floodplains to wash away waste, no scavengers to break down every molecule of uneaten food. Now, one can say, well, what if I add the food web to my aquarium? Yes, 100% you will add some of these elements to your aquarium, but it is just a small fraction, really, of what is in the wild. These bodies of water have been around since the beginning of time, a lot of them, compared to just weeks, if not months, that you have this aquarium. So there is really no comparison when it comes to that. So what happens next then? Well, waste builds up, nutrients accumulate, the system tilts, and unless you intervene, it crashes. First, let's talk about dirty tanks. They use soil substrates, live plants, and minimal tech. They're often labeled self-sustaining, but even these need care, like pruning, topping off water, and rebalancing nutrients. If you neglect them too long, you're going to get algae, you're going to get plants dying off, and you're going to get ammonia spikes. Now, some claim that your system is balanced, that water changes are unnecessary, but waste compounds like nitrate and phosphate still build up unless you have a way to remove them, or plants that are going to fully absorb them. You're going to face toxicity and algae. And no, cleaner fish don't solve the problem. Otters, shrimp, and snails, yeah, they're going to help, but they also produce waste. They're part of the cycle. They're not a replacement for maintenance. Here's the part most hobbyists overlook. You're not just a tank owner. You're a caretaker, a water system, a predator, a weather system. You are nature in your aquarium. When you top off water, do a partial change, feed your fish, clean your filter, you are simulating that natural process the tank cannot replicate on its own. Now, can we reduce maintenance? Absolutely. Planted tanks with the right balance of light, nutrients, and bioload can go weeks, heck, even months without major work. Aquaponics and heavily planted tanks can really help remove a lot of that excess nutrients. Deep sand beds and live rock offer natural filtration. Technology can support a more balanced tank, but even the best setups require oversight because systems drift, organisms grow and die, and life always changes. The dream of a fully natural, fully self-sustaining aquarium, it's a beautiful idea, but the reality is this: every tank depends on its keeper. And that's not a failure, it's an opportunity. Be the caretaker your tank depends on. Understand the balance, learn the cycles, and build something that thrives because of you, not in spite of you. Well, in conclusion, really, my opinion is a natural, self sustaining aquarium is not possible. We cannot fully replicate nature into our aquariums. We can take parts of it and add them to our aquariums and try to make them look nice, but we cannot make a self sustaining aquarium. We use lights, we feed our fish, we use filters, we do top offs, we should be doing water changes. All these things mean that it is not self sustaining. Like I said in the video, we are nature for our aquariums. We are part of its ecosystem. We create the seasons, we create everything within these aquariums. So it is not possible to be self-sustaining. Now, if you use the moniker natural aquarium for your dirted tank. Now, for me, when I did use it in the past, it was because I wanted my tanks to look natural. That was my purpose, to get a slice of nature to make it look natural. And that's okay in my opinion. But truly, for the people that want to call this a self-sustaining aquarium, it's really a flat out lie. It is not possible to be self-sustaining, and truly, in my opinion, I feel that it's really dangerous for the hobby. It's dangerous because some new hobbyists might see this and think this is possible to be able to keep this self-sustaining aquarium, set it all up and just leave it alone. That's not how it works, and they're just going to wind up failing and maybe getting out of the hobby, and that's not a good thing, and I'm not okay with that. Now, I'll leave it at this. If there's anybody out there that really has a truly self-sustaining aquarium, one that's been up for at least a couple years, you don't use lights, you don't use filters, you don't feed your fish, none of that. Your fish are still healthy and your plants are still healthy, please let me know in the comments. I would love to see this. Truthfully, I don't think that's going to happen because, well, it's just not possible. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And as always, remember to think outside the box and take a step back into nature. I hope to see you next time here at Patty's Aquatics.